Hey, John. Where's your head at right now? How are you feeling?
Man, it's hard, you know. Had my first team meeting of the year after the game. There's so many things to unpack there. Not just the series as a whole. 7 games, 2 of them go to extras. I thought we played great baseball. Both teams having chances, they're late. I feel for the guys. You know what I mean? This is a special group of guys. That being said, I am so proud of them, of the entire organization, really. You know what I mean? That's kind of where I'm at. We've set a new expectation and a new standard here, and did it with a lot of hard work. Did it with a lot of cohesiveness, and man, it's tough to say bye to this group.
This feels like a team that we'll be asking you about 10, 15 years from now, too. When I ask you about the 2025 Blue Jays, what are you going to remember?
All of them, you know what I mean? Like literally all of them. It's not very often you get a group together that genuinely likes one another and genuinely cares about one another. And I'm talking about their wives, their kids, you know, and them. It's a special group. And I think Blue Jay fans for generations are going to remember this team. Not just what we accomplished, but how we went about it.
Bit of shy straight ahead.
John, you said you held your first team meeting. What did you want to say to your players?
I said thank you. I said thank you probably about 10 times. And that was the main message. You know, I'm sure I'm going to talk to them all again, but I said thank you. I said I'm sorry that we're feeling this way right now. It definitely could have been the opposite end of the spectrum in terms of emotions. So I said thank you, and this is a group that I'm never going to forget. They're going to have a place in my heart, every single one of them. So that was the gist of it.
John, with all the good things that have happened this year and all the things you mentioned to be proud of, how does that ending impact the feeling that this group may leave with?
It'll hurt for a few days, a few weeks, when you're that close. You know, the positive person in me will take some time to digest it, and I'll go back to Bo's homer in Texas, George's Canada Day. So many things I'll go back to and be proud of, but I think right now you just have to kind of, I don't know, take in what happened. You know what I mean? But going forward, you know, the beauty of baseball is that it goes on. You know, there'll be spring training in February. So that being said, you take away the sacrifices the guys made, the way they went about it, the performances everyone had, and kind of just the cohesiveness of the team.
And Bo, with that swing, he essentially had his signature moment,
Yeah.
even though it did end up a win. Just what was your view on Bo, and what was your feeling for Bo having that moment?
That was right up there with George's homer against Seattle. You know, for a guy that has been a staple of this team for the past 6 or 7 years, to have Vlad intentionally walked, and then he went dead center on the first pitch. It was so fitting. You know, it felt right at the time. And in terms of Bo, what he did this year is nothing short of amazing. What he did to get back is nothing short of amazing. He's playing on one leg. So in the moment, it felt right. You know what I mean? And, you know, for guys like him, George, Varsh, Kirky, you know, guys that have been here, you know, I feel for them because they deserve to be on the stage right now.
Got a mic straight ahead.
Hey, John, when you look back at this game, do you see it as a couple of heavyweights going at it back and forth, or do you see it as you guys had all the chances that you wanted to have to win it?
A little bit of both. I thought we had chances to sweep them. You know, I thought that we played our game, and our game is as good as anybody in baseball. So is it two heavyweights going back and forth? You know, going back to the beginning of this series when people were calling it David versus Goliath, it's not even fucking close. So they're good. I put this group of guys against any other 26 players in the entire planet. Yeah, we had our chances. We had our chances to beat them soundly, you know, and we didn't, and that's baseball.
When you had opportunities, both last night and tonight, with the guys you want up in those situations, you want Ernie up with second and third and nobody out. You want Kirk up when you need contact. How does that feel in the dugout when you're going in those spots?
You like it, you know what I mean? You want the game to be decided by the players, and I think that throughout this series it was, and we came up short. You know what I mean? I'll relive those bases loaded at bats for a long time, but man, I've said it so many times. I trust everyone on this roster, and you know, you want to let them decide the outcome of the World Series. You know, that was an epic World Series. You know what I mean? For a variety of different reasons. So, at the end of the day, you know, players, they can become legends or they can be this close. You know what I mean? And we were this close, and you know, I'm just proud that we went about it the right way.
Do a couple more. John in the second row on your right.
Hey, John. What did you think of Max Scherzer's performance tonight?
I thought Max was really good. I thought he was, you know, exactly what we thought he would be in a big game, and it's a testament to him, man. He's 41 years old. He's throwing 96. He's making pitches. I thought he was awesome. You know, in games like this, you know, you usually think starts are going to be short. You know what I mean? But there's no one I trusted more than Max in that situation. You know, bottom of the order, and I thought he handled everything extremely well, and he gave us exactly what we needed.
Do you think tonight was his last game in Major League Baseball?
I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if it wasn't.
Go straight back near the cameras.
John, to win a championship, you have to perform, but you also need a little bit of luck.
Mm-hmm.
And it seemed as though a lot of the bad breaks went against you guys, ball in the fence and losing a game in 18. And tonight you get two hard-hit balls to infielders that don't go through, a couple of also close calls on strikes and balls there at the end that don't go your way. Do you feel like there was a little bit of lack of luck on your side?
Yeah. I mean, to be the last team standing, a lot of things have to happen. You have to perform. You have to make good decisions. You have to make plays. You know, I think that's why it hurts so much. Himmy hitting the ball I don't know how Muncy caught that. Izzy just not getting there, and Will almost coming off the plate. We played so good defensively too. Double play from Vlad, Varsha's catch. Yeah, man. There's a lot of stuff that has to happen in order to win it. You know what I mean? And we did everything that we needed to do. It felt like. So I think that's why it stings. You know, just a little bit more.
Take two last ones. Sixth row on your left.
John, how would you describe the Dodgers as a team?
Talented.
One more for John. We'll finish up with Mike.
John, can I ask you about Vlad? I mean, today he had the one hit, but it came on the double in the 11th. He makes three terrific defensive plays. If this game had gone the other way, he's probably the World Series MVP. What did you see from him tonight?
Exactly what we saw the entire postseason. Vladimir took his game to another level, and I think for players that are here and that are going to be here and that are going to be here in the future, knowing that we got 14 more years of Vladimir Guerrero Jr. playing complete baseball is an awesome thing for our team and for our fans.
And Ernie sets the record with 30 hits in the postseason. And, in the first round, one of the TV commentators said nobody's ever heard of this guy.
Mm-hmm.
You've watched him for a couple of years. What did you think of his postseason and his game tonight?
Historic, it's you don't see that very often. We're talking about really good pitchers, right-handers, left-handers. Ernie had a phenomenal year. I hope he wins a Gold Glove. He should. And he kind of became one of the faces of our team because of the way he plays. Unbelievable run that he was on this entire postseason, and man, he's turned himself into what people think was a waiver wire pickup or a guy that's kicked around the minors. He's turned himself into a everyday major leaguer that is going to contribute to win a world championship.
All right, John, just an incredible postseason for the AL champs. Thank you so much. Appreciate
and
it.
I don't want to leave without saying congratulations to Dave and the Dodgers. It's a hard-fought series, and it sucks we're not the last team standing. But to Dave and his staff and his team, congratulations.
Oh, incredible World Series. You should be so proud, John. Thank you.
Guys.
Part of it was you passed Tommy Lasorda for most World, for World Series titles. I think Walter Alston actually has more. But what does that mean to you?
Yeah, it's hard to reconcile that one. I've just got so much respect for Tommy and what he did in the game, and so I'm just right now I'm just really elated and really proud of our team, our guys, the way we fought, and we've done something that hasn't been done in decades. And there were so many, as we talked earlier, so many pressure points and how that game could have flipped, and we just kept fighting, and guys stepped up big. So I could just go on and on about the big plays, the big performances, and this is one of the greatest games I've ever been a part of. And this whole series and what the Blue Jays did, and they gave us everything they had, and just such a first-class organization.
You can smell the champagne from here. You pressed the right button at every juncture, especially tonight, but throughout this series. I don't even know what the question is. Can you talk a little bit about how you
I just think it just goes down to just trusting your players. And, it's nice when you can look down the roster and have 26 guys that you believe in and know that at some point in time their number's going to be called. And that's kind of what happened. And so, Miggy Rowe, I talk about the game honors you, and, right there the game honored him. He does things the right way, and he deserved that moment. And what Yoshi did tonight, is unprecedented, in modern day baseball. And, just the young guys coming out there with the arms and just the big plays. And again, it's been a long season, man. We started out in Tokyo and ended up north of the border. So just proud of this group of guys.
Good. Jack in the second row.
Dave, what was the mood in the dugout like when Miguel was coming up there in the ninth, and just being able to manage that game with the way it started and the deficit you guys faced? What did it show you about your club that you guys were able to come back there?
We were going to play 27 outs, and obviously it doesn't look great, in that moment. But I trust him to take the at bat, and he got a pitch that he could handle and hit the biggest hit he's ever had in his life. And obviously at that point in time we felt real good about it, and we needed a next level performance from Yama, and we got it.
Can you walk through just the pitching maneuvers from Snell to Yama and then sticking with him once you got to the 11th, just kind of what was going through your brain those last couple innings?
Yeah, I'm still trying to unpack it. Snell was good. I just felt that, he gave us what he had, and I think Glass pitched before him. Honestly, I just kind of try to push guys as much as they could, and having Emmett in there and Robo doing his thing got some big outs, and for me at that point in time I wanted to give Roki or Yamamoto an opportunity to keep the game at bay, and then once he did that, he felt confident that he could stay in his delivery, wasn't going to compromise health. And then at that point in time, even for that third up, he said "Daijobu," means I'm okay. And so for me, I just trusted him, and he came up big again.
We've asked you about the dynasty question a couple times over the years. I mean, do you look at this as cementing that? Just what does going back to back and winning 3 and 6 years kind of mean to what you guys have put together here?
I mean, we've put together something pretty special. I do know that. I'm proud of, the players, for the fans, scouting, player development, all this stuff. To do what we've done in this, span of time is pretty remarkable. And I guess I'll let the pundits and all the fans talk about if it's a dynasty or not. But I'm pretty happy with where we're at.
Go to Steve and then Jim.
Congratulations. I want to ask you a couple questions about Yamamoto. You've dealt with pitchers before. Is there something in his physiology, the way he approaches, what he did tonight is sort of unheard of?
It's unheard of, and I think that there's a mind component. There's a delivery, which is a flawless delivery. there's just an unwavering will. I just haven't seen it. I really haven't. And, all that combined, and there's certain players that want moments, and there's certain players that, want it for the right reasons. But, Yoshi is a guy that I just completely, implicitly trust, and he's made me a pretty dang good manager.
Are there things, though, that's just part of his makeup? Does he throw differently? Because you usually are not able to do what he did tonight, throw a lot of pitches. And then is there something just in his style?
Well, it's just he uses his body very efficiently. And it's the whole engine that works and not just the arm. So he's just very efficient with his delivery.
Can you just expand?
I can't go into all that. That's not. No.
Okay.
No.
We'll go to Jim.
I guess my first question would be, how do you say bulldog in Japanese?
Yeah, good question. We got a lot of people that can answer that question.
I mean, what he did tonight, what Bueller did in the ninth inning last year. I mean, similarities, differences. What did you see?
Yeah, similarities. Walker is obviously in Dodger lore, and Yoshi just put himself right there with him. Throwing 100 pitches and come back after a 1 day off and going 3 innings. It's pretty crazy. I'm kind of crazy for sending him back out there, but I just felt he was the best option. And again, it's something that I just never imagined. But you got to trust players, and I believed in him. We all believed in him, and this game again, I'm having a hard time unpacking it. Just what a great series, what a great game, and I think we're going to be talking about this game for a long time.
And the other thing, I mean, you guys started in March in Japan. You started before anybody else, and you're the last team standing. And there's been a lot of ups and downs this season. I mean, if you could put that into a few words, what this roller coaster has been like this year.
Yeah, I mean, you can look back at the miles that we've logged this year. I think Brene Brown comes to mind. Grit, the real definition of grit, passion, and perseverance for a long-term goal, and we never wavered. And it's a long season. We started, as you said, in Tokyo, and we kept going, and we persevered, and we were the last team standing.
Go to Anthony, fifth row, straight back.
Doc, congrats. As you said, this was not just a great game, but a great series. And people talk about in baseball mapping out innings or what. There was so many things that happened in this series that could not have been mapped out, especially the 18
It wasn't
game.
mapped out.
What can you say about just these two teams just emptying the tank against each other?
That's what it's about. I mean, those guys, I got so much respect for what John does with his team and his staff and the organization, and they gave us everything we had. It was just a brawl, and both teams fighting and punching back and responding, and I mean, it's just I'm speechless. I really am. I mean, it's going to go down in one of the ages, Anthony. And as I'm answering, I kind of forgot your question. Did I answer your question?
Yeah. You used your entire rotation.
Yeah.
It's like these are things that we don't.
Yeah, and I think the thing is that, you look at around the room and you just see guys, and everyone wants to participate. And you just got to figure out when's the right time to call their number and know, when to bet on them, when to push them, when to pull the plug. And it just makes it a lot easier where I just know these guys are ready for whatever moment that I ask of them.
Do a couple last ones. Yuka in the third row.
Congratulations. I know Yoshinobu did really well, but this season and this whole year, you had 3 Japanese players and participated with the Dodgers. And how do you evaluate those 3 players?
They were all different. I think Shohei obviously has the weight of the world on his shoulders as far as expectations, being probably the face of baseball. Certainly when you're talking about the world and what he did on, he's going to be the MVP in the National League. It's just really special what he's done, and just a great person and a great competitor. Yoshinobu is one of the top pitchers in all of baseball. I think he's shown that this postseason and this year. And Roki, Roki's a young player who really had a tough time early and found a way to kind of get back to being healthy and really contribute in a huge way. And so there's a lot of growth in Roki this year. And I know the people in Japan are very proud of their players, and we're just very lucky to have them.
One last one for Doc. We'll finish up right there on the left. We'll get you the microphone.
I'm just curious to know, with the offense struggling the way it was throughout the series, how does that impact the way you manage the pitching staff? What's the feeling in the dugout, knowing that this team really hasn't hit in the way that prior World Series champions have historically? How did you work that out with the pitching
Yeah,
staff?
you got to sort of, you know, they were grinding, but yeah, we didn't swing the bats, you know, all postseason like we're capable of. So I think it's just more of you're really trying to, on the margins, you know, prevent as many runs as you can, because it wasn't really expecting an offensive game. And so certainly in a do or die Game 7, you're trying to do the best you can to prevent runs. But, you know, Miggy's hit, Will Smith's hit, just huge hits. And again, I'm just exhausted.
Well, we're so happy for you. Congratulations,
Thank you,
Dave.
guys.